An extremely fascinating study has recently been published, and I'm really excited to bring it to your attention. Okay, so a bit of background information first before we really dive into the meat of the study. So, you know how at certain areas along the seafloor, there are these things called hydrothermal vents? Yeah, they're kind of like underwater hot springs, sort of. Except they release hot hydrogen gas or sulfur-containing compounds and other noxious chemicals from the depths of the Earth's crust into the depths of the ocean. Now get this. Because these vents are on the bottom of the ocean floor, they exist in total darkness. There's no light at all, so there's no photosynthetic plants or algae, there's no animals that graze on plants, there's not even any photosynthetic bacteria. There's pretty much nothing. At first pass, these hydrothermal vents may seem lifeless, like purely geological formations engaging in some spooky, deep underwater, eldritch process, belching black fumes into the water. But this is not so. A rich array of chemotrophic bacteria and archaea, which derive their energy not from sunlight and not from digesting plant or animal biomass, but from reactions with the inorganic chemicals flowing around them, like hydrogen or sulfur dioxide or whatnot. These microbial communities line the inside of the hydrothermal vents, where the microbes live and replicate in a veritable bath of nutrients. Now, the study that I want to tell you about today explored the ecological role of microscopic protozoan predators that roam through these exotic extremophile communities and prey upon the microbes. This is an extremely fascinating dynamic of the hydrothermal vent ecology that I frankly never even considered before, so that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention. Now, I'll read you some sections of the abstract because it's pretty thorough and it gives you a good basis of what's going on. So the researchers write, quote, "Microbial eukaryotes, or protists, in marine ecosystems are a link between primary producers and all higher trophic levels, and the rate at which heterotrophic protistan grazers consume microbial prey is a key mechanism for carbon transport and recycling in microbial food webs. At deep-sea hydrothermal vents, chemosynthetic bacteria and archaea form the base of a food web that functions in the absence of sunlight, but the role of protistan grazers in these highly productive ecosystems is largely unexplored," unquote. So here they've basically explained the state of knowledge and where they're going to take a closer look. And then they explain what they did, saying, quote, "Here we pair grazing experiments with a molecular survey to quantify protistan grazing and to characterize the composition of vent-associated protists in low-temperature diffuse venting fluids from Gorda Ridge in the northeast Pacific Ocean," unquote. So the reason they say low-temperature venting fluids is because you gotta keep in mind that a lot of these deep-sea hydrothermal vents are extraordinarily hot, and the only thing that can live in them is these extremophile microbes. They're the only things that can tolerate the extreme temperatures. Even protistan predators that they speak of aren't capable of tolerating that much heat. It melts their bodies. But in the cooler vents, where you get some of this, quote, low-temperature diffuse venting fluids, unquote, these are more temperate habitats, relatively speaking, and so these protistan predators, they can actually start to engage these microbial communities. They can enter these habitats and roam around and do their thing. The research results found that the protist predators, quote, exert higher predation pressure at vents compared to the surrounding deep seawater environment and may account for consuming 28 to 62% of the daily stock of prokaryotic biomass within discharging hydrothermal vent fluids," unquote. So there's two important things to take note of here. One is that the predators are focused on the rich microbial communities in the vents themselves. They're not just like lurking around on the outside or in the nearby water, they're in the vents with the microbes. And two, a good portion, perhaps even a majority of the bacterial and archaeal biomass here is being eaten on a daily basis by these predators. They're cleaning house, basically. This level of predation would be unsustainable in a more familiar, surface-based ecosystem with larger, slower-growing vertebrate communities and vertebrate predators. Now they also report, quote, ciliates, followed by dinoflagellates, syndinules, rhizaria, and stramenopiles dominated the vent protistan community, and included bacterivorous species, species known to host symbionts, and parasites, unquote. So essentially, there's a wide variety of protistan predators here, filling a variety of ecological niches as they find some way to consume this biomass in these hydrothermal vent communities. As the authors describe, these predators play an important, but poorly understood role in deep-sea carbon cycling in some of the world's most extreme environments. This is just super cool stuff. It is wildly interesting, and I certainly hope that you think so too.